sales team structure technically could always evolve, or at least ours has evolved over the years multiple times. But one of the things we wanted to share was it was progression. So how sales people progress and how do you keep them engaged in the progression, right? What are the quotas that you hit, and how do you decide what those quotas are? So without just someone saying a quota is 15 applications a month or a week or a day or whatever, what does that mean? What are they writing? What is your lead source? What is the conversion rate? What is the persistency? All those factors combined help you come up with what your targets are, and then you can come up with some sales team progression. So we're going to share first, our sales team progression. I'm going to throw that up. I don't know if Jack has it, but if he doesn't, I have it right here on my phone and can get it on the screen. Looks like Jackson does have it on the screen here. So this is our internal. So one thing we're talking about here is mostly for LOAs. So mostly LOA sales team structure. Something similar could be built for 1099 sales, like a 1099, and you can have 1099 LOAs. So one of the funny things about like the terminology in the industry is sometimes someone will say 1099. And by the way, Jack, Jeremiah, Dustin, if they're around, would be good to have on here just because they're talking to a lot of different agencies. Even any of the Go Guru guys, I'd tell them to just listen in. So in the industry, a lot of people will talk about these different types of agents. So you'll hear call center, field, broker, LOA, 1099, and then unfortunately these terms get used in different situations to mean that where they don't mean the same thing. For instance, there are call center gets a bad name because of what the most egregious versions of that do in comparison to maybe this version or this version, right? I always say this, anybody who knows boomerbenefits.com, Danielle Kunkel Roberts, great, we know that's a great company. Medicareschool.com, Marvin Music, they run exceptional marketing in the direct to consumer world. And they operate call centers. Like the carriers view them as a call center. Now, so when you say call centers are bad, well, they have extremely low complaint ratios, very high persistency, high quality traffic. So we know that there is a variation of different types of call centers, right? By the same accord, there's a different variation of the term 1099. Because technically, a lot of people, when they say 1099, they mean 1099 from the carrier. But you could be a 1099 only LOA. An LOA just means that I've assigned my commission to an upline. So if I assign my commission to an upline, then by assigning that commission to the upline, that doesn't mean that they have me on W-2. That doesn't mean they're paying me a salary. They could still 1099 me the commission only. Now, if an LOA structure that someone's a part of is 1099 only and no W-2, no base pay, then they should probably be paid a higher commission on that 1099 front. Now, if they're completely lead independent of you, I would argue that you might be getting to the point where they shouldn't be 1099 at all, but they at minimum should be in a higher commission structure now. So there's multiple tiers of this. And so all this is like, it's kind of like if you've been to college and you were forced to take some class like art appreciation or music theory, it's like, the spectrum of what you build is only limited by the imagination and the confines of the actual compensation that you can receive as an agency or, at the top line, right? So like there's multiple variations to do this. The one rule is, however you do it, it has to be profitable for you. Because if you I pay the most, but you lose money, well, then it doesn't matter. Okay. Because you'll go out of business. So congratulations, you paid the most and then you went out of business and now nobody gets paid. So great, wonderful. Or at least you don't. So it's irrelevant. After that, you want to solve for, you need to create a model where the agents are the quality agents are satisfied, or at least feel like that they have progress that they can make in there. So in our Medicare sales role progression model, what we do on the LOA side, and this is one of the things, this is the newest iteration and evolution. So we used to do, when we started out commissions, man, when I started LOAs, The original commission structure was if you rewrite a customer that was already on the books, a core product, you don't get paid on it. You only get paid on the cross sell. And if you bring your own core product, you get paid 50% of the core product and you can get, 50% of the cross sales. That was the original. Then it went down to, a 20% of the cross sell, 20% of core product, but no getting paid on rewrites. This got very confusing because, and it also made some people not understand what they were getting paid for, right? So yeah, going back, Stephen, LOA means licensed only agent. And by the way, it has nothing to do with your actual licensing. It doesn't. I don't know why they call it that, really, because it doesn't really make sense as an acronym. It just means that they're not receiving the commission directly from the carriers. They're on a different commission model. Now, why would someone go LOA? Well, they're going LOA for some sort of value proposition, and they're probably not, or the LOAs that we hire don't want to be independent business owners. They want a job where they get paid for production. That's that they want the structure, right? And so an LOA, when we talk about LOAs, it is for us, it's a W-2 position. Their commissions and their base pay are W-2. So on this, just so you guys know, our LOAs internally now, at the most current iteration, receive at minimum a $26,000 base salary, very small base salary. That is not a draw. We do not diminish it away one day when they get their commissions up. It's never diminishes. It is the flatline baseline salary. There are salary increases based on attaining leadership positions. And there's the occasion that someone comes in with a vast amount of experience in other industries where we might pay them a slightly higher salary. But the salary is not designed to be huge. We also pay internally 75% of their health insurance costs on our group Blue Cross plan, and they have a 3% matching 401k that they can contribute to as well, with a couple of other, optional benefits on the group package. So there is a baseline. Now, we didn't always offer all those group benefits, so don't think you have to do that. We didn't do that for a long time. That was something we added later on as we grew, and we felt like, well, when you get over a certain size, you have to do it anyway. So you don't have to, but that is what our people get. On the compensation side, what we hire first is a junior producer. They are getting 10% of what our levels are, and that means first year and renewals for life, as long as they are part of our organization, they're getting 10% of that. So if we were street and we were getting $313 first year commission on a plan change for Medicare Advantage and then a $313 renewal, then they would get 10% of that, $31 a year, roughly, whatever. If that goes up, if the street commission goes up on that, their 10% goes up. The weekly goal for this is 15. Now, this isn't our model. It doesn't mean everyone has to be at 15 core apps. It all depends on your model. 15 core applications, meaning Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement. We're not counting ACA in that. We really don't give junior producers a lot of ACA. They start off more on Medicare Advantage, MedSup, and then we start training on ancillary health. In the beginning, we give them some grace for a while because we're trying to get them trained on the core products, and then we bring in ancillary and start prioritizing an attachment rate. We have an AEP adjustment. In AEP, we would expect a junior producer to be at 19 core a week and 4 ancillary apps per week. The promotion path, how do I get promoted to the next level? Well, when I'm a junior producer, I need to be in the top 3 agents within that junior producer pool, top 3 agents within the junior producer pool within a quarter. And in that quarter, if I'm number 1, I skip to number 3, which is a senior producer. And if I'm in the number 2 or number 3 for that quarter, I move up to a core producer spot. We want everyone who is a junior producer to move out of the junior producer role within their first year. If they don't move out in their first year, then we towards the end of that year, we would put them on a performance improvement plan. If it didn't work out, towards the end of that year, we would talk about letting them go. They could go be a field or street agent if they want to. But we would consider at that point that they're dragging down our sales momentum internally. A core producer. So when they get promoted, if they're number 2 or number 3, they get promoted to core producer. Their compensation goes up to 13% on their personal production. And then their weekly goal goes to 17 core and 5 ancillary applications per week. The AEP adjustment goes to 22 core and 7 ancillary applications a week. The promotion path at that point, number one overall for the quarter, if they have to move from core to senior, they need to be number one for a quarter. And that would be number one out of the core and the junior producers. So for everybody at their level and below, they need to be number one. Just a second. Hold on just a second. I have a loud dog in the background. I had a loud puppy trying to get out in the background. I thought my wife was gone, but she's here. Okay. All right. So on my from my senior producers, to get to a senior producer spot, again, you have to be number one for a quarter from the junior and core roles, right? Number one is going to move to senior producer. That's going to go to 15% on personal production. And the weekly goal adjusts to 20 core and 7 ancillary apps a week. So and then it adjusts an AEP to 25 core and 9 ancillary apps per week. The longer somebody's around, by the way, too, they start to get referrals. Their pipeline matures. They get better at closing deals. There's reasons why these goals increase at that point. The promotion path from senior on would be it would depend on whether, and Jackson, you can scroll down a little bit. Scroll down to where senior producer is at the very top. Or that's fine right there. So senior producer, to go to a legacy producer is not a guaranteed spot. We only need a certain amount of legacy producers. And so a legacy producer spot is actually where sometimes a promotion will come up where someone will move over to the FMO side of our business. We have some sort of progression where they might move into a different role completely, and that would vacate a legacy spot. And the people that are in the senior producer pool that are actively hitting their quotas would be then competing for that legacy spot. A legacy spot would grow them to 20% on personal production. And then they would have a weekly goal still of 20 core, but then with 10 ancillary applications. Now, one reason that this ancillary rate goes up is that a legacy producer starts to get an increased quality lead flow. So they start to get more of our T65 referrals, things like that. And when we're doing that, they're getting some laydowns. Yes, we provide leads. There will be a recording as well. I'm trying to follow up. In your company package, I assume you're providing them leads. Yes. If you're paying somebody 10% of what the compensation is and you're not providing leads, you'd have to be some sort of psycho. Who the hell would do that? Like, so your assumption is strong because your assumptive power is strong. So let's see here. All right. So legacy producer, 20 core apps, 10 ancillary apps per week. AEP adjustment, it doubles. Now, why does it double for a legacy producer? Again, it's the lead quality. They're getting our Google My Business. We actually have walk-in offices. So there's some random walk-in traffic that goes to the legacy producers. It goes to it goes to legacy producers. It goes to like I'm trying to think of other lead sources, Jackson. Seminar leads hit them first. Now, all the other producers we have, senior core, all that, they get overflow, but legacy tends to get first dibs on the high quality stuff comes in because they're the most well-versed in products. At that point, they're selling ACA, other under 65 private health plans. They can field for our annuity producers to be able to write annuity production. They might even be able to sell some life occasionally. So at that point, their application count goes up because their lead quality goes up, but they're also able to close a lot more deals. So actually 40 core in AEP and 20 ancillary apps is low. Just so you guys know, we have one legacy producer this week that at the end of Wednesday was over 58 applications total, core and ancillary combined. And by the way, we don't count PDPs at all. There's no PDPs counted in any of these goals. Because most of them don't pay a commission anymore. Promotion path, invitation only based on open seat and elite performance. So this is a promotion where our leadership decides. The team lead, sales manager, they get together, and when that legacy spot comes open, someone would decide who that is. Team lead. Now, this is when we start getting into people actually making bonus off of their pods or their teams. So compensation for this is they still get 20% on their personal production, but they get a 1% quarterly team revenue bonus. normally what we're talking about is those team sizes are, the goal is to get them to around 8 to 10 per team lead. You could do it smaller than that if you had a smaller team. This is all about progression. So in the beginning of building a sales team, you don't need the team leads and the sales manager. You're the team lead. Like when I first started training LOAs, the way I'd train them is I would sit on appointments and they would sit behind my shoulder and learn. Okay. So if you don't have any LOAs right now, or you don't have agents and you're like, how do I train them? I don't have all that. Well, one, we stream our sales training for our internal sales staff to over 100 agencies right now, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, $347 a year. That's all it is. If you're in the hierarchy and you have all your core products aligned with us for Medicare, you can get it for free. But if you're not, and you don't want to move your contracts for whatever reason, because you decided Bozo FMO number 6 is good at keeping my override, so I'm going to leave them there. That's fine. $347 a year. Years ago, somebody told me you don't charge agents, you recruit them or you charge them. So I said, no, we will let them see for a small nominal fee what they're missing out on by being part of the best freaking hierarchy in the country. And we've built that. But I digress. So when we get into the team lead position, the team leads, that's once you grow a sales team to the status of needing a team lead. That comes out of your legacy producers. It's your legacy producers that are responsible, reliable, and constantly crushing goals. You don't always want a top producer to be your team lead, but you don't necessarily not want to make a top producer a team lead. So some people are afraid to make a top producer a team lead because then you lose the production on the team lead. But a team lead still produces. Now, their production requirements actually go down as a team lead because they are getting bombarded more with questions, but they're getting a bonus. And it's also a stepping stone to that eventual potential, like for sales manager positions or other positions, right? So weekly goal, team average. So this is their goals. It's based on team average of 15 core and 5 ancillary. If their AAP adjustment is 19 core and 6.25 ancillary, if their team they only get that 1% quarterly bonus if their team average is hit. So for that quarter, they have to hit their team average. Okay. Doesn't mean they had to be really high. It doesn't mean that everybody had to be high, but this also puts them in the position or the mindset of thinking about when do I cut and when do I coach? Because sometimes you can coach people to the next level. Sometimes you got to cut them or they're hurting your entire bonus. And now it's your money, not just my money. It's not just the business's money. It's now your money too, because you're tied to it. And so we want those team leads to think that way. Promotion path, legacy level producer assigned leadership responsibility. So we're typically going to take a team lead from the legacy producer roles. That's just typically what would happen. Sales manager. So sales manager, our Medicare sales manager is going to be moved up to a $60,000 salary. By the way, we don't have it on here, but our team leads typically do get a salary bonus or a bump as well. I think it's around the 40K mark, something like that.
We did 44 as
40, 44K at a team lead. Sales manager is going to bump to 60,000, and the quarterly performance bonuses they're different based on the quarter. So they're not they're right now we don't have them based on percentage. It's based on goals and outlooks, and it's more strategy. So sometimes a sales manager isn't necessarily, sometimes a team lead is going to make more than a sales manager, but the difference in a sales manager is this somebody who's doing no personal production anymore. They have phased out of personal production. So normally we'd want them to be extremely qualified for this, be in a team lead position, but really wanting to get into that role that's pivotal to move up and start getting away from personal production. And by the way, we want some people that are perfectly okay staying a senior producer forever. We want some people that are okay staying a legacy producer. It doesn't always, we're not going to make somebody do a role that they don't want to do, but some people want to phase out of that production mode at some point. So that's why it says no personal production goal, no AEP, and the goals are actually set like every quarter. We just think about them. We say, what did we do this quarter last year? How many more agents do we have? And we come up with a goal, and then we come up with a monetary dangle. Like I think we had sales managers in the past that were getting like an AEP, like a $50,000 quarterly bonus, and then OEP 25K. So those are just kind of some concepts or ideas. Um, and then oversees multiple team leads, role based on leadership capacity and business needs. So that's kind of our sales progression model right now. We're working on building this out for other types of roles as well. So let me go back and look at a couple of these questions, and then the people that have raised their hand, I'd love to, if you have a question, you want to answer it live right now and come up live, raise your hand, and we'll get you in order that you raise your hand to come up and ask questions live. If you don't want to ask questions live, just throw them in the chat Q&A. So here we go. Let's go back to some of these questions. We do provide leads. Sorry, I jumped late on so can you reference the base salary and hourly for the difference? So so I say 26K on salary for a starting junior producer, but it's not really a salary, obviously, because at that low it can't be salary. So it equates to like $12.50 an hour plus commission, right? There are organizations out there that pay $20 an hour, but then they don't pay renewals, they pay flat fees. Okay. And we just don't do it that way. Do your legacy agents hunt or no? So legacy agents do hunt, and just be real here. Legacy agents, any agent in our role can fall back down now. In the past, we're not doing a good job of making someone fall back down that ladder. But if they consistently aren't hitting their goals, then they'll get put on a performance improvement plan, and they can be reduced back down to a lower level. I don't know what Jackson's clicking on, but it's distracting.
Trying to get, I'm like tripping here. How do I get off this? There we go.
Go back to your Zoom app at the bottom, or just unshare your screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Here,
So
here. There we go. There we go.
so anyway, so they can regress back down. A team lead's average size, what our aiming for is 10 on the max, but I wouldn't start one. I wouldn't have a team lead until they at least had 5. Okay, so it's a different skill set. Some top producers are not a good fit. That's right. Some top producers we found, need some maturing on other fronts. They can be insane producers, but not necessarily, be equipped for that leadership role at that time. We always want to try to not try. John Maxwell says that leaders are judged on how many leaders they can create, and so sometimes we want to take people that maybe aren't natural born leaders, but they're hardworking and have good intention, and we want to try to turn them into that. We want to turn them into those leaders. So that's a goal of mine, but they're not always ready for it. Sometimes it's about who's consistently showing up, who's professional, who has the respect of their subordinates, who has the respect of their peers. That's important for us. So Tuesday, Stephen S. just put up in the chat the Tuesday through Thursday sales call link. It's store.justinbrock.com/product-d whatever. There's a long link in there. He put it up at 9:52 a.m. in the chat. If you guys want to get on there, check it out. Brandon, so let's see, go down here. Can you make that document available to copy? Yes, we can. As a matter of fact, to anyone that is paying to stream our sales meetings, the $347 a year I'm talking about, or are in our downline, they can get that document by emailing marketing@bobbybrock.insurance.com. Email marketing@bobbybrock.insurance.com, and we will send you that document over. Let's see. What are your spend per agent and marketing to get sales? So we do a lot of different marketing. We do Facebook marketing. We buy leads. We've done broadcast television. I actually just shut off broadcast television. We pump a lot more into Facebook. We've done billboards. We do a lot of work on our, Google My Business listing or Maps listings. We have multiple offices with Maps listings. We work on our site for SEO. We've done that for years. Trying to think of we've ran YouTube ads and stuff, but honestly, guys, Facebook and then buying overflow calls, it will fuel the whole damn thing. Like, you don't really have to look past that. Anybody that thinks those two things don't work, they probably don't have a sales team. They're probably weak salespeople. If you think you have to sit in from somebody's living room, I had somebody in the office yesterday, and they said, "Well, where we're at, they expect you to sit in their house, and in that same state, I'm crushing sales over the phone." So that it's bullshit. It's just you think that because they don't know how to do it any other way. How do you determine compensation percentage of production first year, or do you consider lifetime client value? Well, technically, what we want to do is build in the percentages as low enough where we know the profitability is there, and then we could always increase it later if we wanted to. What we find, Christopher, is most people when they come in is they try to pay too much because they think, well, I wouldn't work for this, but you're not hiring yourself, so don't worry about that. You would pay lower and then increase as you find it viable. It's just for a call center setting. It's just we for this model right here, they are in our office, but you could do this with virtual people working from home, but it's not a call center. I mean, some of these people are walking retail, so they have people walking into their office and sitting with them. So it's multiple variation. Don't you can't if you put it in a box of saying this is just for call center or this is just for field, then you think that you have to do everything one way unilaterally. So don't like the entire industry and all of our progress has been because we explode the fucking box. Like the box, it doesn't exist. Anything that somebody else did, I can do it different and it can work. Like, and so you can do what I've done different and it can work. This idea that it has to be call center or field or whatever. Try to get rid of those words. I hate those words because they're used incorrectly. And sorry to be passionate about that, but like just obliterate all the bullshit. At what point do agents get put on a PIP? How many PIPs? If they hit a quarter, so we look at goals. A weekly goal getting messed up is not necessary. So we leave it up to the team lead. But if they are not hitting their weekly goal multiple weeks in a row, then I would think a team lead would put them on a PIP before the end of the quarter to try to get them on the right track. But institutionally, if they miss their quarterly goal, they would automatically get put on a performance improvement plan. And depending on how far they off or what some of the controlling factors would determine what our timeline for consideration on readdressing their correction period. Normally, it's at least given 2 weeks. Sometimes it's 30 days or more.
Yeah.
Jackson, insight there.
Yeah, the official document that's used is if somebody is not hitting their numbers within, let's say, a month, the official document title would be a written warning. And then at the end of the quarter, if they still aren't hitting that goal that they're expected to hit, then it would become an official PIP, performance improvement plan. So it'd be another document that's titled PIP.
By the way, people not hitting their goal, it's 100%. It's 99.9% their availability to take calls and their aggressiveness of outbound calling and following up. It's 0.1% training. Now that's in the right environment. So if you don't provide an environment that has good training and keeping people engaged, then obviously that's not the issue. You need to provide the right environment for that. But in our environment, when we have somebody that doesn't hit it, it's 100% they're available. We even have some people that are hitting their goal consistently and they could double the goal, but they're coasting, you know. And that's why we wanted them to move to senior producer. You got to be number one for a quarter. We want you to be competitive. Now we want you to be like competitive and have a good spirit about it, a good culture about it, but we want you to want to win. Hey Justin, so to clarify, salaries for the agents is paid as hourly or actual salary. So until they reach the legal point of it being a salary, because there are legal rules on it. I can't remember what the name. We have a comptroller and a payroll person that knows when to put them on salary. Once they go on the official level that's above the salary metric, then we put them on salary. Before that, it's hourly, and the team leads would be the ones tracking their hours. They're self-reporting, but the team leads are making sure they're updating it accordingly.
That's actually one of the reasons that the team lead gets moved to that specific salary is that is the salary like that
The
Jeff is.
base salary to before it goes from hourly to salary. 40 is right around that 44K, something in there. Before that, it's actually hourly. Most of them are working 40 hours, and we will pay overtime. If somebody wants to come in and write on Saturday, as a matter of fact, we still do weekly bonuses on top of this, but it's all based on volume or Saturday applications. So, and we can talk about those bonuses too. Anybody wants to know those bonuses? Be a purchasing streamer, $347 a year, $347 a year, 3 meetings every week, pretty much all year long. And you get them recorded if you can't watch them in real time. They all go on a YouTube playlist, and you get access to that playlist as well. It's an unlisted playlist, so you can't find it publicly. And then we'll send you what those bonuses are too. What's the lead to conversion ratio? Do they prospect or cold call? They lead to conversion. So it's you'd have to break that down by lead source, but probably our primary lead sources right now on inbound calls that we create is 21%. On the other stuff, it's difficult to say. It depends on the agent because some of them are more aggressive on outbound and follow up. Do you prefer individual incentives or team incentives for the major producers? We do a lot of team incentives. I think like we do prizes, we do belts, we do all that. That's fun and that's good for the culture. But I do prefer individual incentives for primary motivation, and those individual incentives are typically monetary. Salespeople are decently monetarily driven, most of the time, the good ones. Level of leads based on type recap. So we got a lot of questions on here. I'm going to see about the ones that have raised their hand and kind of pop over to them. It looks like we got Haley Allen first. So I'm going to allow you to talk, Haley, which is going to pop you up here. I think you can turn your um, video on if you want to, but you don't have to. I'm just going to see if we can get your question.
Oh, good morning. I actually haven't had any questions. I didn't think I was raising my hand. I apologize, but thank you so much for everything that you do, and I just appreciate all of the insight.
Well, Haley, it's a beautiful yellow hand. Thank you for that. And I will lower it for you right here. Boom.
Thank you.
Haley took that moment. Very good, Haley.
We got Clarence's hand is on here. So what did you got, Clarence?
Hey, you guys hear me? Good morning.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Cool. All right. I actually got two questions. I currently have 1099 field agents who are mainly set up to be in the field, and my agency is structured just basically getting the overrides. I don't have any LOA agents. I'd like to move or bring on a couple LOAs myself. Can you talk a little bit more about like the infrastructure tools you guys use, like specifically like the commission trackers? Because I know you guys had some splits for the commissions, and then like the call software that you guys use. That's one question. And then a follow-up question into that is, do you think that you can have um I guess a W-2 LOA field model, like a model with mainly field agents, as opposed to having them either virtual or selling over the phone?
You certainly can. Like I was saying, I mean, I don't think there's any limitations on what can be created. Every time I've ever thought that there was a limitation, well, first of all, every time someone put a limitation on what I could do early on, I would tend to blow it out of the water, and they'd be like, "Well, never mind." And then I found myself at some point starting to create my own limitations and share those with other people, and then they would prove me wrong, and then I'm like, why am I doing the same thing people did to me years ago? So I quit doing that. So you can certainly build it field, be it LOA 1099 or W-2. I have heard of some field models that had base salaries with quotas and things like that. I think the biggest deal there would probably be creating an appointment setting process for your field agents. Where you have maybe it still might involve a call center or an outside organization that helps do appointment setting for your lead flow, and then still have a lead expense, obviously. From a tech stack standpoint, obviously, we're using Sunfire for quote and enroll. We have enroll here for inbound calls. Enroll here also does our reporting and commissions side. They do our commissions payable. It's not the cheapest for the commissions and reporting side. The base expense for commissions is about 3,500 a month, but for what we do, it makes sense because it gives multi-user login. The functionality is really good. But for people that are wanting to get started and they want a commission solution that works but isn't as bank breaking in the beginning, Comtrack is a great solution. I think it's under $300 a month. And they actually, Evan McGuffey that created it is very involved in the setup for people that come on. So great opportunity there. We actually have an affiliate link for Comtrack out there, but you can just tell him that Justin Brock sent you over. He gets a little referral bonus, but I mean, I'm not doing it for the affiliate commission. Honestly, it's just a great tool for people that don't want to spend 3,500 a month on a commissions tool. Other tools we use, we have GoGuru. We created GoGuru. We have some huge updates to GoGuru coming out. It's like literally, guys, it's going to put some monstrous distance between us and any other high level system. If you're using another high level system, I kind of feel sorry for you because you're going to be like, fuck, because we're going to have two-way data mirroring on a SOC 2 and HIPAA compliant database system that will never have data retrieval issues like high level does. It will kill all the data retrieval and speed processes, and it'll make your user experience so much better. So that's most of the tech we use. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, we have a lot of software subscriptions, but a lot of them are on the creative side. So it's mostly enroll here or contract for commissions if you want to use a different one that's cheaper. Go Guru for CRM and marketing systems, and then Sunfire for quote and enroll. And that's typically for the agency side. That's the tech stack. I can't think of other ones off the top of my head. All right. Was there another part of that question that I missed, Clarence? Because I want to make sure I.
No, you answered my question. That was helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for being on here. All right. It looks like we got Brandon Johnson too. I'm gonna him up.
Hey guys,
Hey, what's going on?
man, I'm gonna tell you, love Medicare Con, hate it's going away, but thanks guys. I'm down here in Georgia. Small operation, got about 10 of us now, and largely LOA, with folks being in the office but outside going and getting their business. Looking to move to more of a virtual deal, moving to inbound, maybe going through enroll here. And so I guess my question is, I sometimes I feel like there's 1,000 options to go with, but would you recommend, hey, go through enroll here, pay per live transfer, and just go that route and make it work? I am spending about, I don't know if you need, I don't guess it matters. I'm spending a fair amount of money for myself on like community marketing and digital and things like that. So looking to kind of streamline.
Yeah. So first thing, good. Like, don't stop anything that's working. Never stop doing it. Enroll here is great for sale. Like, so what we try to do is have a mixture of quality and quantity. We have, like, when we do behind the agency workshops, which, by the way, plug, we got a new agent boot camp coming up, which is for people to bring their LOAs to that are aligned with us, or outside individual agents that want to come. And then we have a behind the agency coming up too. I can't remember when the next one is, but somebody will put it in the chat. But on the at behind the agency, one of the things we teach on is the quality and quantity spectrum. And so, some people are really trying to solve for high quality marketing, but their CPAs are out of whack, and it becomes difficult to profitably build a sales team within that. And then some people go all the way on the quantity of lead flow spectrum. And when you approach all quantity, you start having more retention issues. You do get CTM ratios. It doesn't matter if if the marketing is compliant, the sales are compliant. When you go high quantity, lower quality, you're going to have a higher CTM ratio. So what I would suggest is using like enroll here. One thing about enroll here is not a lead developer, it's a lead router, but they have all these lead partners that have been vetted by AmeriLife compliance, IFG compliance, like certain organizations. And so they're vetted by us from a compliance standpoint. So our producers can plug in, take those calls, use different vendors that that we like to do a blended approach to the vendors that works for us. And then we just kind of talk about them over time. Daniel Amos, CTM is complaint to Medicare. Scarier to most people that haven't dealt with them, but obviously you want your lower ratios and CTMs, which we can talk about at a later point. But biting the bullet and going like enroll here, to me, is the best one. We've looked at Convoso and Ringba and every other little one that pops up. There's some people out there that promote ones they're vested in. Full transparency, I'm a board member on Enroll Here, but as far as vested, like, I don't own equity in it. I'm not one of the founders. I do like the guys that are part of it, but they come from the distribution world. So it was a tech platform built similar to Convoso, but with an emphasis on the Medicare environment, instead of like them going out and building it for a bunch of different verticals. Convoso's for real estate and every PNC and everything. This one is specifically in the Medicare market right now. So everything that they've built is designed for Medicare agencies, which I like. So it's a little easier to get plugged into. Also, they are better at negotiating cost per call, is what I've seen. So you're getting better cost per call metrics. So with going to it, you just have to understand that the economics are different. So it's persistency goals might be closer to like a final expense style persistency goal, but it's okay because I have lower CPAs. And then I can always work towards involving my agents in a way to try to retain as much of that business as possible. But it's a lot of low income, and with low income telesales just comes persistency issues. That's just part of it. That's not bad or good. I used to think it was bad. Like I'd be like, we don't going after DSNP. They're hard to keep on the books, all that. And then I realized like these guys are shopping, and that shopper volume is there, and the CPA is low enough where it's profitable, and you can build a process to catch that. But if you're always taking profits from that and also trying to build the quality process so that you have a mixture of quality and quantity, that's how you can also create part of your progression for your agents. Is the good agents, I eventually start to make them mix in some quality lead flow, whatever that means. Community, projects, seminar, T65 seminars, T65 webinars, messaging. Quality marketing isn't about the source. Facebook isn't bad quality. Facebook has bad quality and good quality. It's all about the messaging, right? So, so anyway, that might be a long-winded answer, but Medicare Con, by the way, we don't think it's going away. We're taking a down year. So 2026 is a down year. Our business has been exploding. I sold 51% of it, and I somehow got busier than ever. We grew the first year with AmeriLife. Our EBITDA grew 51%, and we're just exploding with growth. And Medicare is a little bit of a distraction. Medicare Con is a little bit of a distraction for us. As useful and awesome as it is, it will be back. But we did want a down year. It does not make a lot of money, and it is a lot to put together. We wanted to focus on our workshops. We wanted to focus on starting to do really like weekly webinars where we just pour into people this way. And we think that's helpful. And we think people should still go to events, but I would limit it to one or two, tops. But when Medicare Con is back, it should be Medicare Con. So thank you for being there in the past, Brandon. And I hope that I answered your question.
Yes, sir, you did. Two little quick add-ons on the let's say the virtual sales, the enroll here people. Are they getting a renewal on that, kind of similar to that for year two if they hold on to it?
Yeah, as long as they're not on some sort of heat model, like which all of ours are are as earned, so that's not a thing. But like there are some people that do it on heat model. It's hard to pay renewals on that because there's no renewal commission to the agency.
I'm sorry. What do you do on like a CSR type of thing there? Are those folks trying to manage any of that kind of customer service stuff, or do you have some team members kind of taking that all on for them?
So we have team members that are client retention specialists. So I guess ours would be CRSs, but those client retention specialists we have. So we'll be at 35 LOAs, and we'll have right now we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 customer or client retention specialists. But they still have a process where they involve the original agent back into the equation at some point, which comes with the renewals. So they do get involved, but we try to shield them from unnecessarily being involved. Right. And then we also, like, we're coming up on July and August, we're going to do power-based reactivation month, where our agents have to divide up all of the customers that they've written so far. And then by the number of working days in their July and August, they have to reach out to X number. So let's say I've written 200 customers, and I have 100 a month then for July and August. I divide it by, let's say, 20 working days or whatever that number is. They have to make outreach to that many people on that list and make their way down that list to work on making sure they're still in the books, making sure they're happy, retention, getting referrals, maybe cross sales, but then also if they need it, setting up time or reminding them they can talk to them in pre-AEP. And then we try to use that time for them to layer pre-AEP October 1 through 14 with review meetings with those people, see if they're still on the best plan for them, that kind of stuff. I think that was part of your question. I don't know if I answered the rest of it. I get going and I forget the whole question. So let's see. All right. Thank you for coming up, Brandon. I'm gonna see if anybody else has a question. Was there anybody else with their hand raised on here?
Looks like Uziel Hernandez, maybe.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'll pull you up there.
Hey,
All
how you
right.
guys doing?
Good. What's going on?
Yes, awesome. Yeah, I was also at Medicare Con. It was great to meet you guys and appreciate you guys doing all this because it's really helpful. I'm trying to learn and I guess my biggest questions is I don't know a whole lot about like Facebook marketing and just I just want to know like how would I get myself acquainted with just marketing in general, Facebook, like what would be for somebody who's trying to learn about that, the first starting point?
Yeah, we'll probably do a webinar on it soon. I was training some people on it in-house. Our Go Guru team does have a marketing menu. So let me see if I can share this really quick. Let's see. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's see. They changed some of this, and I'm not in here as much as other people. So let's see. I think we Go Guru Marketplace. So on this Go Guru Marketplace, we have things like Facebook ads set up stuff. Now this is for like non-hierarchy participants, but we also have a Marketing Plus subscription. I think it's right here. Where we'll like run people's marketing, their Facebook marketing for them. So there is a path to do that. If you want to learn it, I mean, you can learn the platform on YouTube videos. The problem with learning the platform is it's different than learning what works. And so learn what works, we help people set up some of their original ones. That typically gives them some ideas. And you look towards lead development or quality, like brand building marketing. So brand building is going to give you less leads, but sometimes people that get a lot of leads that don't have a sales team actually don't know what to do with all that. So it just depends. And so that turns into a conversation with our team to figure out, what makes the most sense for you, in the beginning. But if you just want to learn the platform, I would go to YouTube learning platforms. But when you want to learn what works, you gotta get on and really work with somebody who's running ads efficiently.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. This is very helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on here.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna probably answer one more live here. I think we had perhaps somebody else with their hand up.
I'm going through trying to answer all the ones in the chat, so it should be good there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to get you guys on the sales calls. I mean, it is like we have people that are individual agents that are on the sales calls. We have people that stream it. I mean, to be honest, guys, if you have a team in an office and you pay $347 a year, you could put it on the damn TV and have the whole office stream it. We're not picky in that way, like we're not monitored in that way. We just want to get more people plugged in to watching the training because we know how helpful it is, and it helps us build a relationship with you all and then figure out like what else is there that we can do to help you guys grow your businesses. Because honestly, the FMO world, like most people just don't even know how to grow their businesses because they're, the largest growing portion of our business now is the FMO side. And it's because the value proposition in the market for FMOs is so low that they just don't know how to build call center distribution. They don't know how to locally market. They just don't know how to do anything. It's always sharing. Here's this mail piece that this one agency is running. They don't know the metrics behind it. It's ridiculous. Because they're not actually doing what they're telling you to do. They're recruiting only. And we do both. And we do it, from a tech stack perspective. We have partnerships with the tech leaders in the industry where we're building things to help them. And we take all of our feedback from our agents and actually work towards making things better for you guys. So we have a lot of people that years down the road will say, I thought I was too small for you guys, so I went with somebody else. And that always kills me because you're writing 50 to 100 apps a year. We want to work with you. Those are the people we can help grow Only people that can't help grow are people that can't figure out how to write one. If you can't write 5 apps a year, 10 apps a year on your own, something's wrong. Okay. But if you're writing 50 to 100, we want to work with you. I think we've given sometimes because of our sales goals being so high for our agents, that people get this idea that like, well, I'm too small for them. That's not the case. We want to work with people that are writing 50 to 100 apps somewhere, and then help you figure out, how can you scale? Do you want to scale? That's okay. How can, if you don't want to scale, how can we just make your life easier? Help you with service, that kind of stuff. We don't do service, but help you streamline your services with GoGuru, with other services that we do. Can't wait to on a webinar in the next few weeks show you guys completely what we've got going on in the GoGuru world, what we have going on in the My Agent Portal world. We have another tool that'll be in there. We even built something. Drew built this. I came to him the other day. We were using this other FMO's tool for DST selection or SCP selection. And so we built this, and I'm showing it to you. It's public right now. We're thinking about gating it just for our distribution. But right now, if you were wanting to know, what, let's go here to what counties in Louisiana had a disaster SCP, boom. And nobody has this. The tool that we were using was not this sophisticated. This is plugged directly into FEMA's API. That data is coming from there. We're building real shit to help real agents, and everybody else is sitting around doing fucking nothing. So if you want to work with a real FMO or a real tech platform that actually builds stuff to help agents and shares information for free on webinars every freaking week, that's what we're doing. So love y'all. Thank you for being on here today. Appreciate it. If you guys want help with stuff, reach out to us, marketing@BobbyRockInsurance.com. Give us a shout. Our national sales director, who's not on this right now, is Jeremiah at BobbyRockInsurance.com. Jackson is one of our vice presidents. He does a lot of our sales training too for our team. He's worked with a lot of you guys that are on here right now, probably. Jackson at BobbyRockInsurance.com. Send us an email. I don't have a form. I've told you things we're doing. You guys could come to our agent boot camps. You can come to our behind the agencies. Every time somebody comes to behind the agency, it's mind-boggling for them. I tell you every single compensation strand. I tell you exactly what everyone's getting. I tell you exactly what exists. You could go and hop around for hierarchies and talk for years and find out that one of them lied to you 2 years later and you don't know, or you can come to behind the agency. I'll tell you what the whole damn thing is. And I'll tell you what you should expect and what you shouldn't expect, and what you need to do to get what you need to get. That's what we do. Transparent and real and effective. And anybody that's with us that's on here, if you're not getting the best of us, reach out, because squeaky wheel gets the grease. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.